Happy Miracle Monday. This is Dawn Petalino, your transformational coach and best-selling author of Peace, Power, and Miracles. And Miracle Monday is where I just remind you of certain spiritual truths that you can apply on a practical level so you can become back in touch with the creative, wise being that you came here to be, which is an expression of love. So today I want to talk about transitions. I want to talk about when circumstances frighten us. And particularly when you're going through a transition, it's hitting up against some fear. This could be something physical from the outside world like job, health, relationship. It could be something even internal that you're going through. Transitions can be quiet inside as well. It might not be something that's actually happening in your outer world. But either way, this fear comes up and it can feel very raw and it can feel very panicky. This old anxiety. And what that tells us is we are coming butt up against an edge within ourselves, somewhere that we closed to the love, to the being that we are. Remember that you came here as an expression of love. You were not just randomly placed. You were designed. You were an idea, as A Course of Love talks about, and I refer to both of these books, A Course in Miracles and A Course of Love. It says that you are an idea in the mind of God, and it is this idea that you wish to express. So you came here as an idea to be, in your own individual way, this expression of love in form. Okay, so let's just establish right now that you are one with this source. You did not create yourself. That's step one. Know that you did not create yourself. So when you're coming in circumstances that are scary, remember that your being is always desiring to expand to higher levels of consciousness. Higher levels of consciousness is not something to be afraid of. That doesn't mean that, I'll be very spiritual, but my physical life is going to be, like a pauper or something. No, higher levels of consciousness is to say, I know with beyond a shadow of a doubt that I am connected to the oneness, the one mind, the one heart, and therefore, which is love. And therefore, I don't have to worry. Love becomes what mirrors back to me. But anywhere we closed our heart, that is where we kind of disconnect or cut ourselves off from that source of love. So these transitions are a way of helping you rise beyond that next level. And I talked about this in a blog in my last newsletter about turbulence and rising beyond this turbulence, which is like this going from one airstream to the next airstream. And when you're rising in this energy, you're going to jet up against these fears. And whether they are outer fears, which makes it a little more challenging, when you're actually facing an outer fear and it's right in your face, it's very hard to deny that reality. But you have to ask yourself this question. Whose influence am I under? When I am seeing this, whose influence am I under? And this is where we have to get still. We have to go within. We have to connect to our heart. Remember, you are an idea in the mind of God, and it's this idea that you wish to express. Now, the rest of that quote says, and it is found at your heart. So literally, you have to go within to your heart. Now, when you're scared, a lot of times you have to feel safe first. You got to kind of get to that neutral place before we can relax and soften our heart. And so when you're frightened, in order to feel safe, this is where mantras are great. One of my favorite mantras that I was using in a time where my marriage was falling apart, where I was moving, where I was going to a new job, all this stuff, just felt like somebody took the game pieces and like threw them in the air. And I would say to myself, I do not depend on people or circumstances for my good. God is my source and my supply, and He provides through His own amazing channels. And that was all I needed to repeat to myself, to just calm myself down, to just remind yourself of a truth. So a mantra that rings true for you is helpful. Talking it out with a friend who can hold the space for you, and that's really important. They're not trying to impose anything on you. They're holding the space for you, reassuring you, allowing that fear to come up and come out. When you can do those things, sometimes those help to feel safe, help you to feel safe, and then you can begin to hear your heart. But when you go within, it's going to be a gentle voice. It's not going to be a punishing voice. So when you go to your heart, one thing is you have to go into meditation and you have to kind of take your eye off the ball, so to speak, take your eyes off the circumstances and just ask, may I see love? May I see the love that's here? And don't think about the circumstances. What you're doing there, as A Course of Love says, that you have to suspend judgment. Before you can see, you have to suspend judgment. So that means I have to be willing to say, and I use this all the time, show me your perspective of this. Especially when I'm afraid, because I know that my source is not afraid. You know, love doesn't have fear. So show me your perspective. And I close my eyes and I listen. And sometimes I'll just focus on the birds. I'll focus on something, on just a sound, on the feel of something. I focus on my heartbeat. Something that I can put my focus and attention on while I'm waiting. And if you wait long enough, there'll be a new feeling. There'll be a relaxation. There might be a new thought, but there'll be a new feeling. Now the thing is, I do have to sit, sometimes I have to wait longer than other times depending on how afraid I am. So I might have to sit for a while, and then when there's that new feeling, and generally it's usually a peace. It might be something else. You might be given other information, and I've had times in my life where I've been given information. But sometimes it's just a general feeling of peace. And there's all of a sudden the fear and the anxiety is kind of gone. Now, this is the next part. When you open up to that, allow that in. Because now you're allowing love in. And you have to resist the temptation to go back to your fear. It's like someone just said, here's the gift. And you go, oh, thanks. And then you turn around and go, but wait, what about this? So you can't like receive the love and then shut it off. You have to trust it. This is where you have to trust what you feel. And the Course of Love tells us that your feelings will show you whether you are accepting love or you are turning to fear. Because the love always feels more peaceful, more compassionate, more grounded, more joyful. So when you just allow yourself that peace, then you have heard the perspective of your higher source about the situation. You may not know the details, but you know the feeling. The outcome is assured. And that is one other thing the Course of Love says. It says the perspective that you still have control over the outcome is all that needs to change. So let go of the outcome and trust your peace. If you'd like to learn more about this, you can go on my website, www.donpetalino.com. You can download the free ebook, Where Am I Going? The 4 Stages of Transitions. You can also find the book, Peace, Power, and Miracles. I hope you take this out into your day, and anytime you are faced with any kind of fear, whether it is just happening inside or whether it is literally happening in your circumstances, to stop. Do what helps you to do to feel safe. Go within. Get quiet enough that you can listen to the perspective of love. And when you feel it or hear it or sense it, trust it. And always ask yourself, now whose influence am I under? Happy Miracle Monday. I hope you enjoyed this. And if you did, please like it, share it with a friend that might be going through something difficult. It has gotten me through a lot of scary circumstances, and always out to the other end where I have been very appreciative of what it's brought me. I hope you have a miraculous Monday, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Bye for now.